Okay, so we started that JWT token authentication, and I think we didn't cover that CORS enable also. So two things we are going to see from the scratch again. This is another project. Wait, Core API. Now, so when we have to enable the CORS means so that our API will be accessible by outside domain, means our API is whenever we deploy our API on a particular domain. So let's say www. let's say api.com. This is where we have deployed the API. And let's say another application is there. Let's say www.ui.com. Okay. So in this domain, we will have Angular app. And in this domain, we will have our API project hosted. Okay. Now from Angular app, I will be trying to communicate the API which is hosted on this domain. So these are two different domains. Okay. So when we are trying to communicate from this domain to this domain, this become cross domain. Okay. So whenever we need to do the whitelisting also. So to allow other domain to get data from our API, we need to allow some particular port number or particular incoming URL, right? So in this case, to allow this incoming URL will be ui.com or www.ui.com. This will be my incoming URL, which I need to allow in my API project. This is what we do in CORS. Okay. So we allow all the incoming requests. From means what are the incoming requests we are going to get in our API that we need to allow. Then only those requests will be successfully get the data. Otherwise, it will get the CORS error. Understood CORS? When do we get the CORS error? Okay. Now, how do we enable the CORS in our API project? So just close all. So we have to go to our program.cs. Now in program.cs, in builder service, we need to create a policy. Okay. Let me just get that code. So builder.service and add CORS, and we can create multiple policies. So see, builder.services add core, and in that option, we can create multiple policies like that. So in a single API project, we can have multiple CORS policies also. Let's say, so this policy I have created allow specific origin. So here I have specified 4200. I can add multiple like this. So let's say HTTP colon, let's say www.ui.com. This is an incoming domain. Again, localhost. Localhost colon 4209.
Sir, it's compulsory to define the URL. Otherwise,
We
because we use.
can allow all also, but normally no one will keep allow all. Okay.
Okay,
It's
second
not
one is for
compulsory.
all, right?
Yeah. So see over here, see first thing like with origin. So here we can specify
Okay,
the origin, like what are the origins you want to allow. Okay. If you want to allow
okay,
all the origin, star, everything,
okay,
whatever, doesn't matter what URL they are hitting, right? We will allow all the application to get the data from our API. So that is this. Okay. So like this, we can create multiple CORS policies. Okay.
okay,
So first thing in services, we need to create the policies. Then in our app, we need to enable it also. App dot and CORS, use CORS. And do we need to provide that or not? Let's try this first. Okay. So see, first I have created the CORS policy. Then I have enabled it also. Okay. Now I have created two policies. First name is allow specific origin and second name is allow all. Let's go with this. So this policy I need to add on, let's say, master controller. Okay. So here we add enable CORS on the controller. Either we can add it on the controller level or on the method level also we can add it. Okay. So let's say allow specific origin. Let's run the project. In previous version, CORS was not by default provided in the .NET Core project. We had to install the package, library package, then we can use that CORS. Okay, but now it is by default over there. Why it is saying Swagger chain? Why it is giving error for Swagger chain? No constructor. Swashbuckle cannot be instantiated using the services container the default values. What's this error? Do we need to add this before? Let's try adding it. And
I think सर swagger के ऊपर रहेगा तो
so here we have to keep attention to the sequence also, like what we are using first and what you are using after, because you will get the error. Let's try this now. No, still we are getting some services are not able to be constructed. Service type. Why it is saying like this? Yesterday this same project was working fine. Let's try to remove this. Still we are getting. What is wrong in the Swagger? Swashbuckle is cannot be instantiated using service on the service container with default values. Swagger. Can anyone check like what we had earlier over here? I removed some code. So can you check the old project what I have shared, the same project?
just to give me a second sir. I need to open the laptop first.
Anyone else has the project? Let me check. I have sent it now. Let be I have the
I
laptop.
think app dot builder should be above I think swagger. 890 just a second. I also open.
Okay, that's it. Nothing else. We created builder object, then Swagger. Then use Swagger and use Swagger UI. Use Swagger and use Swagger UI. Nothing else change. Why we are getting this error now? Let's try to ask.
Sir, can you this connection take the above of swagger
Which one?
connection?
This?
No, build service dot add option where we use the test con connection string.
DB context. Okay, let's try. No, still same error.
String builder.
Let's try. Add controller. Okay, add controller is removed.
Okay. Add controller.
We will remove this. Add services to the container. After that, add controller. Let's try. Okay, so add controller because I was trying something, so I think that got removed. Yeah, okay, fine. So what we wanted to check. Okay, so API is running. Now I have another project in Angular. Okay, so here we will try to access, let's say, get all employee API. Okay, over here I'm specifying this API and this API I'm calling in my dashboard component. Let's try localhost 4200 dashboard controller reload. Okay, so currently we are getting course error. So what we did till now in program.cs we have created for, we removed it again.
Yes, yes.
Run it again. So see, now we got the, we are able to receive the, means we are able to connect with the API. Okay. Now, if we remove this particular thing from over here, okay, from our controller, we are removing that course thing. We are not adding any course policy to our controller. Let's reload now. So see, we are getting course error. So it's not sufficient that we will create the policies on which controller, because what happens, some controllers can be open, means without authentication or without any restriction also we have to let all incoming requests to get the data, right? So you need to specify like on what are the controllers that you want to restrict. Okay, so on the controller level also you can add this, or let's say in your controller some methods you want to be open and some methods you don't want to be open. So on the API, specific API also you can add it like this. So now only this API will be restricted for the particular port. Clear? So what we did, first we created services. Inside that we can create multiple also. Okay. Then here in the app, we just have to say use course. That's it. And on the controller, what are the controller which you want to restrict? Over there, you will add it. This is how you enable the course. Clear, everyone? Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
once the question, like once in an interview, I've got the question like whenever you get a course error, like what are the steps like Angular one? What are the steps you're going to proceed?
See, first of all, I explained, right? Course errors is basically from API side, like whatever the URL we are trying to hit the API. So that URL, they have not registered it or they have restricted for particular URL, right?
Yes,
This is,
sir.
so course error. Anyone can say like, I don't know, like why so many people are confused, like course error, they consider like it's a UI issue. We don't have anything on the UI side. If it is restricted in the API side, what we can do? Correct?
We just need to intimate the
API team
backend team.
member. Like from this port, I'm accessing your API, but I'm getting courses so that they will allow the particular port. Okay.
Okay.
There is also
Yes,
one
sir.
way we can create a proxy also. Okay. In Angular side, we can create a proxy, but still it won't, means if with this configuration, whatever I have done, if we create a proxy in Angular, we will be able to hit it. But again, on the controller level also, or I can write a code on API side to check the incoming URL. If it doesn't match, again I can restrict. So that also code can be written. So if someone has that code also now, still we won't be able to communicate with the API. So course error
Okay.
is majorly from API only. We don't have to do anything. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
first, you have to answer like if we are getting Corsair, we can ask API team like what are the ports allowed, and we will run our project on that port. That's it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If someone is
Got it.
still saying no, no, we can do, so you can directly say no. This is what I'm aware about, or these are the issues which I faced, and then I explain to my API team member. Then they resolve it. they specify the particular port number. After running it on that, I'm able to access the API. This is the answer you should give. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Fine. Now coming back to JWT authentication. Okay. So let me show you the project. Okay. So our target framework is .NET 8, means we have created project with .NET 8. So now whenever we have to install that package, so we have to install the particular specific version only. Okay. So we will go to this NuGet package manager and we need to search our JWT bearer authentication package. So browse. Okay. So current stable you can see it is 9, but we need to install particular 8.1. So I have already done that. So that's why it is coming uninstall over here. Okay. So you need to install this package with specific version, whatever. If your .NET project is you have created recently, so you might have 9 also, right? But this project we have created earlier, so we have 8. Okay. So respective package you need to install. If you are creating the older one, again the same. What are the packages we have different, right? So that respective package you need to install. So once you install this package, then again in program.cs, we need to define the properties like configuration for the JWT token. Okay. So first in app setting, we need to create the properties for JWT, right? So let's create a new property, JWT setting. Let's remove this JWT setting. Inside that we have a secret key, issuer, audience. Like it's an object, right? We can store so many things over here. Just our main concern is the secret key. Okay. So first in app setting, we are keeping our secret key over here. Then in program.cs, we need to provide the configuration. So in builder.service, add authentication mechanism. And this we need to add, yeah, anywhere we can add. Okay, so why it needs JWT setting? Some line I forgot. Okay, this variable. So we are just trying to get the app setting data. Okay. So here we are just trying to read the data from our configuration file, and the name was JWT setting, right? So this we are trying to access. We got it over here. Then from setting, it's an object. So from object, we are trying to read the issuer, audience, and the secret key over here. Okay. So this is the same code which we have seen yesterday also. Okay. Nothing changes over there. Okay. So first thing in app setting, we have added our key. Then in program.cs, we have added our configuration mechanism that in this project, we are going to use authentication. That is the JWT one. Fine. Then builder.add authorization and add controller. These two things we need to do. So controller is already there now. So after this, we just need to enable the authorization. So this I will put it over here. Then in app, you need to do this too. Again, here sequence will matter, but let's try which thing we need first. And the account controller, whatever we did yesterday, so same thing will be happen. Nothing change in generating the token. Okay. Let's try to run. Just get the email ID. Okay, let's try to create the token first. 312 execute. Okay, so we are getting the token. Let's copy this token, paste it into Notepad. Now this token, I need to send it with my interceptor. So this token I will copy, and in my Angular project, I have this interceptor. So here you can see I have created a local variable. Inside that, I will put it, my token. and this hard token I'm passing it over here. So bearer slash whatever the token I get. Okay. Now in our API master controller, where is that? So get employee count. See, on this API I'm adding the authorized. So this API we will try to integrate. So instead of get employee, I will use this API. Let's try now. Okay. So now you can see this API call is success. Okay. Now let's just try to disturb the token. Let's just add a dummy character. Now token is invalid. Now if we refresh, see 401 unauthorized, because we changed the token. Whatever the token we got from the API, we change it. We are sending the wrong token. So now we will get unauthorized. So if we pass the correct token, then we will be able to get the data from the API. So this is validation. So only the user who are validated, those will get the access of the API because they are sending the token in the header. So see, here we are sending the token, but we just added wrong character. Okay, let's remove those.
Sir, one question is there. We can in the header when we can see the token right in
Right.
the header. Is it possible we can hide this header to not show?
No, we cannot hide, no. How we
Because
again we can encrypt it also. See, again we can encrypt it. So your question will be if someone get this token, they will be able to access our
yes,
API also, right? But
yes,
again,
yes,
we have added the CORS policy only if you are running that on the specific code, then only you will be able to access. Correct? That is the first check. Again, this is already encrypted, but again we can encrypt it. And on the API side, again we can decrypt it also. Again, we need to write that. What do we say? Filter something we need to write to convert the token whatever we get. Right? That also we can do.
we can do सर आफ्टर ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या एक बार टोकन जनरेट होने के बाद जब फर्स्ट एपीआई कॉल होता है सक्सेसफुली उसका टोकन एक्सपायर हो जाए तुरंत ऐसा कुछ है क्या
Of course, but let's say after login you got the token. After that you hit one API, and if you are expiring that token, then after again I have to make a API call. Again I will log in.
नो नो नो
Right.
फॉर बिकॉज सर अभी रिसेंटली
Hmm.
मेरे भाई की कंपनी में क्या हुआ कि प्रोजेक्ट रिएक्ट पे था उन्होंने हेडर्स में चेक किया तो उनको टोकन मिल रहा था और जो सिक्योरिटी पर्पस में उन्होंने क्या किया टोकन के बेसिस पे एक्सेस कर लिया था
Hmm.
तो उन्होंने बोला कि टोकन एक्सपायर हो जाना चाहिए तो अभी वो क्या कर रहे हैं कि एवरी टोकन मतलब हर एक ईपीआई पे टोकन कॉल हो रहा है
Hmm.
जैसे टोकन जनरेट हो रहा है उसके कुछ 3 या 4 सेकंड पे ना एपीआई कॉल होने के बाद तुरंत
Okay.
टोकन
Again, if I'm
एक्सपायर हो जा
making
रहा
the API call, when we should generate the token then?
है
Instead
एवरी
of, I
एवरी
mean,
एपीआई
putting the expiry date, I think we can do the encrypt and decrypt again.
Yeah, that's what I said. Ideal solution
Yeah.
should be that. Because even if we got this token, if I have the encryption, na, so I can again decrypt it. Even though they got the token, they don't know the key to decrypt, na, right? So how,
यस
I don't know, like in your scenario, what they did. But if we decrypt this token again, we only have that key to encrypt it. So no one can decrypt it and they can use it. Correct? We'll be sending the encrypted token, but on the API side, again, we can, whatever the token we are receiving, we can decrypt that. Then we will check if the token is valid or not. Correct? Like this
बट
will be the ideal.
ये सिनारियो सर एक्चुअली लॉगिन के टाइम पे आएगा राइट if the user has login that then we validate the token right if without a login
Okay, without
suppose only I have the so many api there is no for login and only directly we need to hit the api and get the data
then from which API you will get the token? Right.
for that we just create one api for
To
token
get the
also
token. Something like
yeah
that only, na? Either you provide the login credential or not. Ultimately, API is going to return the token. Correct?
Hmm.
Doesn't matter if you're writing that login logic or not.
या बिकॉज क्योंकि सर अभी जस्ट जो आपने प्रोसेस बताया ना अभी सेम मैंने ये आज अप्लाई करके एपीआई में दिया हुआ है तो मैंने उसमें क्या किया है कि जो एडी से यूजर्स के डेटा गेट करना था एडी में तो उस केसेस में मैंने टोकन आईडी पासवर्ड दिया था, उसके बेसिस पे टोकन जनरेट हो रहा है, और टोकन जैसे ही गेट एडी से यूजर गेट कर रहा है, तुरंत उसके 5 सेकंड के बाद टोकन एक्सपायर हो जा रहा है। तो मैंने कॉपी पेस्ट करके, अगर सपोज मैं कॉपी पेस्ट करके कहीं हिट भी करने जा रहा हूँ, उतने टाइम पे मेरा टोकन एक्सपायर हो जा रहा है।
So see, whenever we are working with the application where that Active Directory login is there, so application which are using Active Directory login, so in most cases you are already in the application, because let's say you are using a company laptop, okay,
Yes.
you are already authenticated by that Microsoft account. Again, no application will ask you to again log in. In that case, you don't need a login API to create the token, just a normal token, because you are already logged in, na?
Yes.
Correct? So in Active Directory application, whole scenario get changed, because there is all you, whenever you user come to your application, you are already logged in. So you don't need to again validate the user. Got it?
Okay.
In
Yeah.
Active Directory, everything changes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yesterday I actually didn't prepare properly. Now I got the time today, so I prepared. So these were the small changes we have to do. To enable this course issue, we have to create the policies. Then we need to enable it. And what are the controller we need to restrict? On that controller level, we will add that policy name. Then for JWT, we need to first install the NuGet package. Once we do that, in our program.cs, we need to create the basic configuration, right? We are just reading the tokens and everything, whatever key and everything we have stored in appsetting.json, right? Then we need to use the authentication, enable the authentication and authorization. Then after in login, you will create the token and you will pass the token. That token Angular will store on their side. And after every call, after the login, they will be sending that token in the header. And that you will validate because of this authorize. Understood?
Yes.
Everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt? So see, as an Angular developer also, it's very good that you know like how it works, token and everything. Because you will be more confident when you are giving the answer regarding interceptor or anything, right? So even though
Yes,
you
sir.
are not
After
understanding everything,
seeing
yeah,
after seeing like how it is actually working on the back end, like we can at least explain the steps, like this is what happens when that error
right,
comes.
correct. So that's what that is one issue. But again, like in some days, everyone has to work on the API also, right? Uh, that what's the new AI tool? The Chinese one,
I think DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, right? So everyone has heard about the DeepSeek. So whatever the probability or everything mature model ChatGPT has now, it's beyond the ChatGPT now. Okay, the Chinese has come up with it. I haven't also gone through it, but whatever ChatGPT models are, whatever their capabilities and everything is there. So DeepSeek is
Sir,
far
when
beyond.
when India developed AI.
See, Indian companies, let's say Infosys, TCS, Wipro, what are the Indian MNCs are there? So Infosys, we will take an example of Infosys. Infosys was started when there was no awareness about the computer and nothing. They were taking softwares from all over the country, right? But they never invested something. See, Facebook or Google, they only have created. But what are the MNCs we have? They haven't created a single product also. Not a single product, which is as huge as WhatsApp or Facebook or anything. Not a single product is there, these MNCs created, which are used globally. Correct? What they are doing? Just providing the service. So we are totally dependent on the US market. If US market is good, we are getting paid properly. If this scramble, we are also getting scrambled. Correct?
Yes.
So they had so many time to create something which other world companies can use it. But what we did, we just kept on providing employee to the other client. That's it. We limited working on creating means I don't know why they didn't invest some time and try to create the product of their own. They are just providing the service based only. They haven't thought of creating any product which will have a huge impact, or which can be used globally, and they will generate a revenue. Even though US market is stable or not, their companies will be stable, right? But we know companies from India have created that product. So if you are not able to create the product, so AI tool is not, that is way beyond their limit, we can say, right? At least they could have created a product, at least, right, which is being used globally. Correct? Okay, any quick question? Okay, well, one more thing I wanted to explain. How many Angular guys are there? So one project I have got, Supriya I have explained. So a project is very small one. A company is from Germany. I got it from a third party vendor, not directly. So I don't know why this thing happen in India or not. Whenever any road construction gets started, now before that road construction gets started, they test the soil. Okay, they have certain instrument by which they test the soil. They take a sample of the soil, then they put it on, then they put that soil to the machine, and that machine will give you the number of different parameter like density, moist temperature and everything, color, and so many parameters it will give if you just provide the. That machine is developed with microprocessor. Okay, and that machine is developed like we can provide a API in that machine, and once we click on calculate on that hardware machine, whatever the API we pass, it will dump that parameter data, whatever the reports data we have now, it will create the JSON data, and that it will put, that it will hit that API. Okay, and that data get dumped to my database. And now I got a project where by using that database, I just want to showcase that report in a properly readable format. Understood project?
Yes.
There are two parts. One with the hardware that is already working. Okay. Other part, in the database, we have the data. I just need to display that data properly, because that data might have so many, so just a sample data they have sent. So normally what we see in a JSON, we have 10 field, 20 field. They have around 32 field, 32 32 parent properties. Inside every property, again, we have inner object. So much I have to play with the data, because let's say if we talk about density, so in density also what type of densities and so many parameters might be there, right? So that's just one project I have in my pipeline. So once I'm having a discussion with them, once we got it, so I don't know like what part they are going to give, either, because whenever we get the project like this now, so sometimes what happens, you just get the UI part, you will just design the
Yeah,
UI.
there is two thing, I think, API and UI, right? Sir?
Right, API, no, not just UI, means design only, not Angular.
Okay.
Just design HTML, CSS. You will design and you will give it to the client. Then some another company will be working on the Angular. They will use your design. So
Okay.
UI design, Angular part, and the API part. Three parts are there. I'm not sure what we will get, but I will check like, okay, fine. Okay, guys, let's connect tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.